Hey guys, Tyson here. I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how to make your Cobraweave bracelet without using a jig, which looks like this. It makes it a lot easier when you're doing it because you can connect the ends on here. But if you're just going to make one just for fun, no need to go out and get one of these. You can certainly do it without. I've never done this before, but I thought I would give it a shot with some tape to tape the ends down. You don't need to use that either, but we'll see. Maybe it'll make it a little bit easier in doing it. So we've got our cord, obviously, and the buckle right here. And let me show you real quick on how to measure your wrist. This is a tailor's tape or a seamstress tape, and you can just loop this around your wrist and see where it is. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to make an 8-inch bracelet. Just because, but you can measure yourself and make whatever size you feel necessary. So right now my wrist is pretty small. It's about a 6 1/4, so the 7 inches fit me great. I think they fit really, they've got enough room in there, a little bit more than a 1/2 inch, so that's perfect for me. You can make however long you want, obviously, but we'll just go ahead and make an 8-inch one because that's a good generic size. So let's go ahead and get started. The slots are going to face each other because the bracelet's going to loop around and connect together. So what I'm going to do, we'll find the ends of the paracord, and we are going to loop them up from underneath and get the loop here, and then thread the rest of the cord through. So this is our cowhead knot, I want to say. Anyway, that's the knot that we're going to use on this end that anchors it. And we send those up. So let's give this a shot. I've got some duct tape, and we are going to tape that end down just to hold it in place. You could do this on any surface that you want. Obviously, this is my coffee table where I usually do stuff. I'm watching silly TV probably, or whatever distraction I want. So we'll go ahead and measure out. That's just 8 inches up there. So what we want to do for the other buckle is we'll go in and back. So for the right side, go ahead and slide that in through. I'll take the other end, slide that through. It's to keep them on their respective sides. Okay, so where are we looking here? 8 inches. Looks good there. Actually, if we're going to do an 8-inch bracelet, I want 8 1/2 inches, because with the material and the knotting, that'll actually make an 8-inch inside circumference of the bracelet. So when you say it's an 8-inch bracelet, I'm talking about the inner circumference, which will correspond best with your actual wrist size. So let's give this a shot again, and we'll use some more tape. This will keep your sizing while you mess with it. Duct tape. Alright, here we go. Hopefully that'll work. So the first knot, we're going to take the left-hand side, pass it over our 2 core strands, and the right side is going to go over that left strand, underneath everything, and out the other side. That's your left side knot, and I like to pull the center, the core strands tight before I cinch that down. Okay. Now that first knot is done, then that side of the buckle is locked in, so that length is going to stay. So I don't know how long we'll stick with this tape thing, but we can continue on with the knots as it is. So the second knot, we're going to do the same thing. And then it's just a case of flipping, keeping that top strand over the top. As you can see, this top strand loops underneath the bottom string and then over the top again. So then we'll take that over again, underneath, and tighten it. Top over the core, bottom underneath and up through again. Top strand over the top core, over the top of the core again. Bottom strand underneath, up and through. Alright. You can see the pattern starting to show up. The actual Cobraweave is starting to show. That's great. I think that tape's working out pretty well. Let's see. Reposition this a little bit. That'll hold a little bit tighter. Okay. Okay, I think you can see how that knot is going. Now what I'll do is I'll finish this up, and then when we get to the end, I'll show you how we finish it off. Welcome back. Some of you who were paying more attention than I was may have noticed that I missed a weave at the top. I went in and I backed it out and redid that particular knot, but what I did was, instead of pulling the top cord over the 2 strands in the middle, I actually pulled the bottom over and reversed the process and ended up with a knot like this. So that is not right. So anyway, watch out for that. If you happen to do that, no problem. You just back it out and redo it. So I'm going to pull the tape off. We're almost there. Actually, I'm going to redo it because that actually did help out quite a bit. So we're almost to the bottom. This has been, doing these has been really kind of cool for me because it's neat to sit down and as you're watching TV or just hanging out listening to music, it's kind of relaxing to get something productive done with your hands, which I don't do a lot during the day. So it's kind of fun to have a product, an end result to your effort. So, oops. Alright, we are almost to the bottom here. Okay. is a little tricky when you get towards the end and you have to do a little hand manipulation with it, but I'm sure you can get it just fine. So we'll get close to the bottom here. Oops. The jig does make this a bit easier, but I'm sure there's 100 different ways that you can figure out how to secure the ends while you do this. And we're almost to the bottom, and at this point it's getting close to, well, do I do one more knot? Do I do 2 more knots? And usually the bracelet will tell you this one is saying I want 1 more knot. So you say, okie doke, 1 more it is. See if that fits right under that cow head knot. I hope that's called a cow head. And that looks just great. That fits in nice and snug underneath the knot. Bracelet is nice and tight. You can tell it's almost rigid, which is great. There's a little bit of extra length, which is good because you can really grab onto it and tighten that securely. Next step, you're going to need a lighter and some scissors. And if you have some, I use some needle nose pliers to kind of curl the end over, but you can use your scissors, or depending how clean a finish you want to get on it. So we see the end right here. We're going to go ahead and melt that off. And while that's hot and melted, take something flat and cool, like the blade of the scissors, and I like to roll it. I like to roll it to kind of match the contour of the bracelet right there, as you can see, and you get that nice and smooth, and it flares out on the end to actually hold the cord solid right there. Makes it a little bit more challenging to release the cord when you need to, but I'm sure that you'll probably have a knife or something in your pack, or even with a little bit of elbow grease, you can definitely pop that free. So that's not a problem, but it holds the bracelet securely, which I like to do. So the other end here, I'm going to do the same thing. There we go. Might be a little close, but I think it should be okay. That's great. I like to curl it away from the wrist too. Usually I use my needle nose pliers to do that, and it's got a little bit flatter surface on it, and that rolls it up nice, but those scissors worked out pretty well. So there you have it. 8-inch Cobraweave bracelet with a 3/8-inch buckle. Let's see how we did on the inner circumference on that. We said we were going to do 8. I can't remember if I taped it up at 8.5, so we'll see. I can get so far. 8 1/4, 8 1/8, so pretty close. Alright, hope you had fun. Enjoy.